Wow. Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Oh my God. He's going to rest up for now after a grueling fight with Tyson Fury. Now they're saying he could make a spring return. Different names are being thrown out, but one of the big fight names is Anthony Joshua. I'm going to talk about that in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy, Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Listen, I don't know how you found my video, but somehow, some way, you made it. Please throw a like on the video. It goes a long way when you guys do that. It's free, it's simple, costs you nothing, and it'll help others find the content that they're looking for. Now, in the world of boxing, we just seen an amazing heavyweight fight between Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, ex-WBC champion, and the new WBC or reigning WBC champion, because this was a title defense and a mandatory second fight to complete the trilogy. As you guys know, unless you live under a rock, Tyson Fury completed the trilogy with another victory and knocked out Wilder. This time was a classic fashion, and there was no corner towel thrown in, and Wilder was knocked out. In this exclusive with Shelly Finkel, who's the co-manager of Wilder, let's take a look at what it says. It says it's getting wild. Deontay Wilder wants Anthony Joshua bout next year with May 2022 return for an eye, and that's eyed and being eyed, and refuses to retire after the Tyson Fury loss. Real quick, I don't think Wilder needs to retire. I don't think if you're not Tyson Fury and you don't have that game plan, that grit and determination, the shot that Wilder landed on Tyson Fury in the 4th round, the first one that really rocked him, it was a right down the pipe. Fury tried to brace for it last minute and tuck his chin. This shows you the incredible punching power of Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, because even with a tucked chin and weighing almost 300 pounds, Tyson Fury was badly rocked. So a lesser fighter or somebody who wasn't as resilient or durable and conditioned or whatever, they would have succumbed to that shot and it would have been over in that 4th round. So credit to Fury and his cojones in that. So it says Deontay Wilder will not retire after a grueling loss to Fury with the motivation to return in May of next year. The likes of Anthony Joshua are among targets for next year, no matter the result of AJ versus Usyk. Deontay Wilder will not retire. Wilder has no plans to call it quits on his career, as his co-manager, Shelly Finkel, revealed that and what will motivate him in the comeback. Finkel told The Sun, "My gut says the big fights. It's not on the drawing board now, but he would love to get Fury back again." So if he's talking about a 4th fight with Fury at some point, not next, some people say, oh, there's no need, but that just shows you the true competitive nature of Deontay Wilder. He just refuses to quit, Says, but again, it's early and we have to get through Usyk and Joshua to see a couple other possibilities. It's a massive fight, Wilder versus Joshua, no matter what happens in the Joshua-Usyk fight. And I agree with that. And I'm not sure that Usyk, even with his great skill, will be able to deal with the size of Tyson Fury. This is Shelly Finkel. Wilder's 35, brutally knocked out by Fury, who's 2 years younger, round 11 of their trilogy bout, but only after twice flooring the British rival in one of the best heavyweight fights ever. But it was there that the American, who carried 41 knockouts in the fight, broke one of the most lethal right hands in boxing history. As a result, he will go under the knife, so Wilder has to have a surgery next week after returning home to Alabama following the epic Vegas fight. His co-manager Finkel said Deontay Wilder broke his right hand behind the 3rd knuckle, and we will have to have that fixed next week. He has to have surgery. The knuckle is okay. It's the bone behind the knuckle that broke. He's sore, but he was okay. He was home yesterday. Wilder blamed his rematch loss last year on everything but a masterclass from Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King, who he initially drew with in 2018. His excuses, which were stuck by but not proven, ranged from Fury fighting with weights in his glove and his water being spiked. After 11 thrilling rounds in their trilogy decider, Wilder's reputation has been restored despite failing to reclaim the WBC. And that's the crazy thing about boxing. And I've told you guys this for anybody who would listen. In the world of boxing, sometimes in a loss, you can gain more than a victory. Example, Wilder in a loss, and trust me, I'm going to explain something about this because this is a little bit particular. But in a loss to Tyson Fury, based on how the fight played out and how Wilder seemingly was on bad legs in round maybe 2 or 3, and then came back to drop Fury twice off of pure heart power and willed his way to stand up for 11 rounds. He's gained so much. Real boxing fans can appreciate that, and it's a testament to the durability, the mentality of a guy, and the competitive nature of a guy like Deontay Wilder versus, let's say, Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez failed a test with the T in his system, the phentermine T. And then on top of that, he fought Robson Conceição, and it wasn't a fight, an epic, colossal fight like Wilder Fury in terms of how big it was, nor the action we've seen in that fight. And a lot of people thought Valdez lost that fight. So all in all, Valdez retained his title, his WBC title, but I'm not sure that he gained a lot of new fans based on failing the VADA test, and they still allowed him to fight. And then on top of that, his face looked all tattered. His face it looked busted up. And at the end of it, many thought he lost. Versus Wilder clearly lost because he was knocked out and he, fell over completely exhausted and got hit with a crunching right hand. And his stock has risen. Even people who normally take shots like Dillian White, Eddie Hearn, they're kind of giving it up like, man, this dude got some nuts. He's one of them ones. So I agree with the statement. Even people who said they didn't really like Wilder and stuff, you had no choice but to respect it. So I'm happy for D in that regard. It says, with close to 50 million pounds earned from his last 3 fights with Fury alone, the former WBC champion will only be returning to the ring for the biggest nights possible. And that includes Anthony Joshua, who Wilder failed to agree terms with from 2018-19. Joshua's 31 has recently invoked an immediate rematch clause with Usyk, who dethroned him in September. But win or lose, Wilder will still await the 2-time champion with a return plan for next summer. Finkel says, quote, Wilder, he's healing at this point. If everything is okay and after the hand surgery, we'll probably look to enter the ring mid next year, like April or May. So God willing, Wilder, recoveries. He has the recovery. His hand injury is healed and he has no problems. And he's looking for the biggest nights and the big fights. And I agree. I agree with this mentality. Why would Wilder want to backtrack? You made the Forbes list fighting Tyson Fury multiple times. You're a star. This actually, Wilder Fury Part 3, I know they had bad blood, a lot of drama, a lot of trash talk, etc. But this actually felt like a big fight. Not every big fight feels like a big fight. Like, I'm just being real with you guys. Jose Ramirez versus Josh Taylor did not feel like a big fight, even though it was a meaningful fight for the world of boxing. I didn't really see a big anticipation. The fight was cool when it happened. It was cool. Even Joshua Usyk, I feel like Joshua Usyk became bigger based on the outcome, the fact that Joshua lost. That's why the fight really became, viral. Before the fight, the people were saying they were falling asleep at the press conference and it was a bad press conference. Both guys seemed to kind of respect each other. So there wasn't much there. But this Wilder Fury, based on who Wilder is and who Tyson Fury is, they really sold this. And this is also contrary to what old media told you. Old media, again, they have lied to you. They told you nobody wanted to see this fight. But when this fight actually happened and when this fight week actually happened, it was literally all hands on deck and all eyes on me. It was all eyes on this fight. And even people like Eddie Hearn, he was hating. Let's run the tapes back. Eddie Hearn was hating and he was saying that the tickets weren't selling. It looked packed. I don't even know the official attendance because it was such a great fight. I didn't even really care about nothing like that. I loved it. Actually, both fighters had great ring entrances. The Tyson Fury came out like a 300 Spartan. Deontay Wilder walked out with loaded Lux. They were both dope. You know what I mean? But Eddie Hearn, he was the one that told you that the tickets were struggling. There were other people, old media said they couldn't sell tickets to this. It looked absolutely packed. Everybody was talking about this to the point where Caleb Plant had a media day. Terrence Crawford had a private workout. Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter had a press conference, which is an anticipated fight. Caleb Plant fighting Canelo is an anticipated fight. But I promise you, in the world of boxing, it felt like everybody was literally talking about this Wilder fight. Stars were tuned in. You heard Devin Haney, Magic Johnson, LeBron James, and LL Cool J. LL Cool J is hard as ant. It's like everybody was talking about that. So respects to this fight. It did wonders for the reputation of both in the end because people seem like they got their money's worth. I know I did. I personally got my money's worth. As far as Joshua, a fight with Anthony Joshua and Wilder, let's see it. I have so many thoughts on that particular fight. I really believe Eddie Hearn and Joshua, when Joshua was undefeated, they were trying to play God. They were trying to play God in the sense of Joshua. I don't think they felt he was ready for Wilder at the time because this was before Tyson Fury came in the fold and beat Wilder. So Wilder was this big black dude from Alabama, country strong, still is, and they were looking for ways to not fight him. Now things have changed, and I really feel it was Eddie Hearn and his team and Anthony Joshua. They were trying to play God, and then he ended up losing to guys like Ruiz, and then he ended up losing later to Usyk more recently. And that was a bad look because this is really before Fury even came in the picture. He was still out from inactivity and gaining weight and stuff. He was out of the ring. So everybody wanted to see this fight. So it's still a fight where they can make it work and make a lot of money because better late than never, but never late is better, like Drake said, you know? So at the end of the day, I would pay to see Joshua in a real perfect world. Listen to me, people. Make sure you guys smash the like button. I'm the greatest doing it when it comes to this boxing talk. Subscribe to the channel. In a perfect world, I actually would prefer for Joshua to not exercise the rematch clause, step aside, allow for an undisputed finally at heavyweight between Usyk and Tyson Fury, and then make a separate fight with Joshua and Deontay Wilder instead of that. Because if Joshua does lose bad or worse or gets stopped by Usyk, then it does hurt the Wilder fight, you know. But Wilder still has a lot of options like Andy Ruiz and other guys. So let me know what you guys think. Wilder versus Joshua. Can it happen? Will it happen? First, Wilder needs to take a big long rest, vacation, spend time with the fam bam. And let me know how I did in this video. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We out.